say present.
Catherine Delgado, present.
Present.
Bruce Berry, present.
Michael Chiaffi, present.
And that's it. Michael D'Arcy is here as a guest today. Thank you for coming, Michael. Oh, you're taking notes? Okay, great. We need to approve the minutes from the last meeting. Do we need to read them, or we are?
We don't have quorum. I'm not sure.
No, that's right. We can approve them. Thanks so much for the minutes. We'll approve them at the next meeting. Michael Letty, is that how you pronounce his last name? Has resigned from the board. So we're down one board member. I was talking to Beth about it, and we have enough, although enough for tonight, but we do have enough board members that we probably don't have to have anybody else join the board until we maybe lose one other. So that's just a point because I said immediately, do we need to fill the posts? And she said, I don't think so. So again, at the next meeting when we have a forum, we can discuss that. Robert's, so the minutes we'll put aside. Robert, he wasn't able to attend the meeting, and he gave us a quick update. And did you all get a copy of this in your email? I could read it. It's not that long. He said he's caught up with the last meeting's minutes, and he watched the video and so on and so forth. And he thanked Catherine for the minutes. And he also said he thanks for the honoring of representing the CAC at the Ulster County Environmental Management Council, EMC, and preparing for his first EMC meeting on 10/26, so that's coming up. They have meetings that go back to 2010, 2011, and he's reading everything he can to catch up to date with it all. They haven't met since June, when attendance was insufficient for a quorum. So that means that the next meeting will be the one that he'll be able to fill us in. He wanted to thank Peter and Joyce for getting the link to the NYSERDA energy audit website posted on the Shandaken homepage. So that's great. So we're on the homepage now. People can go there and find out where to get their energy audit. And also I noticed that down in near the office downstairs, they have these brochures available for people to pick up, which I hadn't seen before, and I think this is as a result of that. He has appointments this week also. He's been doing a lot. He has appointments this week to explore solar and battery storage and heat pump options with 2 solar efficiency installation companies, Infinite Energy and Sealed.com, regarding retrofit of kerosene heaters, oil, propane, hot water boiler systems with heat pumps, which is interesting because I didn't know that you could replace an oil furnace with a heat pump, which I might look into. Also, replacing multi-zone oil or propane hydronic hot water heating systems may not be as straightforward, but with mini splits, when mini splits aren't a good choice for a floor plan. So it appears retrofit hydronic heat pumps can provide hot water for low temperature, 130 degrees Fahrenheit, so on and so forth. So there's some information, good information he's getting. He'll keep us posted on the above items, and apologize for missing the meeting. Michael, you'll probably be able to give us a little bit more information on that kind of stuff too. He gave us the AMC meeting dates and minutes and agendas, so that's all available. He sent an email out to that. Anybody have anything to add to that?
Question is, Pete de facto board member, are you de facto board member?
De facto, so we have a
So
quorum.
we have a quorum now.
Okay. All right, so then let me go back and ask, can we approve the minutes of the last meeting? Anybody want to make a motion?
I make that motion.
Great, Peter, you want to sit with us? Okay. Anybody want to second it? Okay, the minutes have been approved. What I wanted to find out was also, did we ever get a volunteer for the permanent secretary? Do you remember from, I wasn't at the last meeting.
Well, I think I'm the one taking the minutes now all the time.
You
So
are.
I guess I am I think I have been chosen
So you're it.
so happily.
Okay, great.
And Bruce, you just seconded the minutes?
What's that? I did.
Oh, Angel, okay.
He motion and I second.
Okay.
I mentioned, Peter, just to catch you up, John Michelotti has resigned from the board, so, from this panel, or whatever we call ourselves. And we don't think we need to refill the position because we have enough people on the council to keep us going.
Yeah, well, I think, we should have 7 full members, and we had 2 alternates.
Right.
I think, and MJ were alternates, am I correct?
I believe I originally was an alternate. I think I don't know that I've ever been officially,
Okay, yeah, there was somebody who just never showed up.
there was a young woman,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
teenager who
Right.
has not come.
That's
So
not done.
we'll take care of that at the next town board meeting. Maybe just send me with your name, and then I think MJ would make the 7 full members.
Terrific. That's great. All right. Right. Terrific. Weren't you an alternate also? Were you
For what?
an alternate for this? No, you were always a full-time. I have one answer. I'll finish that sentence. So I just read Robert Cruikshank's report, of what he was been doing. You were walking and we're doing that, so I don't think I need to say that again. Beth updated us on the program, on the compost program. She said at the town board meeting on October 3rd, a resolution was passed appointing Rob Cruikshank as our representative to the Ulster County Environmental Management Council. I look forward to hearing from Rob about the meeting and other CAC members who are attending the Land Use Leadership Alliance training about their experience. So Robert's involved with that. That wasn't about recycling, that was something else totally. But she also said at the town board meeting in September, which was the last town board meeting, I believe, James Ameta and I explained the plans for our compost program and received approval in the form of a motion by the town board to apply for the grant. Soon after the town submitted the grant application. Now we wait until early next year. Fingers crossed. I've attached it for your info. It's creative and sustainable and compelling. James is responsible, so thank you, James. There's a couple of pages of information here, what the grant looks like. It's all written down here in the grant, and you can find that probably in your email. But bottom line is that the grant total that they're applying for is $10,485.66. And that includes things such as signage material for $600, 10 30-gallon drums for $1,244.09, a Joroform composter, I don't know what that is, for $1,078.92, and one 20-foot shipping container, which would cost $5,085. Also, 80 3.5-gallon buckets labeled with Gamma tops for $2,277.65, and pamphlet materials. So it sounds like the 80 buckets are going to be for individuals to use to put their compost in, bring it over here, empty their buckets out into the larger drums, those 30-gallon drums, and then put those drums in the container, and then the company will come and pick up the material. So this is
And
going
I
to.
think there's like double of the buckets, so that you don't have to wait for them to
You
get
drop off a dirt, you bring in.
Oh, I got you. Okay, terrific.
Is it first come, first served with the buckets?
It is, and if we need to add more, I think it's easy enough. We
Mhm.
find money in the town's budget to buy another 100.
Okay.
So this is going to take about a year before this grant comes through.
Well, we won't hear from them until January or February.
Oh, that's not that bad.
Whether we're accepted.
All
How much longer it takes.
The money comes, right? Yeah, the money may
But
come.
once we're accepted, we can expend money ourselves and then just wait.
Right, right.
And this is, I'm sorry, this is residential still?
This is residential. This is not commercial. This is just residential.
And I think it's a farm, it's the farmer,
Right.
right? It's not a company, it's a farmer coming out. He's doing
Right.
all
We'll
the work.
reassess if we get overwhelmed.
Yeah,
with the-
right.
Yeah, that would be moved to that. A woman who was here that
Yeah.
had that company.
Community composting.
Yeah.
Right. All right, so I'm trying to get through this fast so I can get to you. Natural Resource Inventory Grant, that was the next thing. Beth had told me that there's a conservation and land use estuary, river estuary program, an NRI, which stands for Natural Resource Inventory. And that this is an application that's due by November 30th. And what we would do is team up with another town. They do it by pairs of towns. So, for instance, Hurley and Shandaken might want to team up together to apply for this. I don't know who would be writing this application out. I don't know whether it's us or whether it's a town, but this is something that we should look into. We do have until November 30th to fill out the application.
Yeah, I got the invitation through email from DEC. I put it forward to Beth, and I don't know either. I didn't really look at it. I don't know if the town has to do it or the CAC does it. And, either way, it's through the town.
So we need to find out before the next meeting, well before the next meeting, who will fill out this application. I mean, I'd be happy to do it. If the town would like to do it, I think the town may have more clout. I don't know. And it makes
So
a
we'll put
difference.
it, whatever it is, we'll put it in through the town.
Okay.
I mean, you are the town also.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not necessarily that it has to go through with the town board. The town board is a member of the CAC. So
Okay.
It's one and the same.
All right. So what I'll do is I'll look into this on our end, and I mean, if it's an application, I can fill out the application, but we have to team with another town, and that might be the issue, contacting
Another town who hasn't done it.
who hasn't done it yet.
That's what I was gonna ask, whether they've done it, or Hurley has done it.
I don't know.
Right, that's what I'll find out. I can call around and find out. Actually, I'm going to a supervisor's meeting tomorrow.
Oh, great.
And I'll try to remember to ask who hasn't done it and wants to team up with us.
Okay, terrific. All right. So with all that said, I would like to welcome back Michael DiOrsi, and thank you for coming back.
You're welcome.
And joining us. Michael's going to be talking about Empower New York Free Energy, right? And also Solarize Ulster. There's some materials here on the table if anybody wants to grab any. And I'll give you the floor.
Cool. Well, I appreciate the invite to come back. I know last time we were here, we spoke a little bit about the composting, and to hear such an amazing update, I know that the folks at the Ulster County Department of the Environment will be happy to hear the steps you guys are taking. We talk about energy reduction on a multiple scale, and when last time I was here, we were talking about the energy assessments from NYSERDA and the assisted home performance program. We also talked about a program that sort of is geared towards lower income households, lesser means, and that is an energy program from the same entity from NYSERDA called Empower New York. Empower, in order to qualify for this program, people need to make under 60% of the area median income. As an example of that, a family of 4 is roughly $62,908. Also, that's not area median income, that's state median income. So it's a good program. They look for high efficiency lighting. They look for thermostat settings. They check hot water temperatures, evaluate the efficiency of water heads, shower heads, and faucet aerators. They'll also look for carbon monoxide, CO2 detectors, and check all of those things. And they'll evaluate the heating system, inspect the distribution system, access insulation levels in the house, and measure air leakage in the home as well. So this is a very good proxy program that goes along with the assisted home performance program. The measures aren't as inclusive with this. They'll provide some things like lighting replacement, some window sealing through things like foam and stuff like that. They're very low-hanging fruit of energy efficiency, but it's always I've always found this program to be a good place as a starting point to get somebody's head wrapped around the thought of making a house more energy efficient and what can happen. And so what I did was I brought some information about that program with me. I downloaded that from the NYSERDA site today and brought it with me.
Is this what you have here?
It's everything that I have here. And again, I would recommend, again, talking to the folks at Cornell Cooperative Extension of Sullivan County. They're really the go-to entity that is in contract with NYSERDA to do both residential and commercial programs.
That's a cooperative extension of
Sullivan County. Sullivan County. He's really good, but like I said, I have some history with this, so I'm happy to talk about it for a couple minutes.
Why Sullivan and Ulster?
There's a region that is covered, and NYSERDA contracts with specific people to cover that region. The Mid-Hudson Valley region is covered by currently Cornell Cooperative Extension of both Dutchess and Sullivan County.
It's like the DEC has regions as well.
That's
so
correct.
It doesn't necessarily about border on counties.
And I believe that program, it was the Clean Energy Engagement Program, and that program is transitioning into something called the Hubs program. I'm not familiar with it, but that's going to be something that you're going to want to keep an eye out for as well. Getting this information out to the public is vital. Having the link to NYSERDA programs on the Downs website, amazing. It's exactly what should be happening.
Okay.
All right. And like I said, there's a lot of information here. I think the important part is realizing what it can do for homeowners that might not have, with families that might not have the resources to go through the home performance or assisted. And that's that gap.
If somebody is above the minimum gross annual income, they're able to take advantage of this program too, but not on a free basis.
No, they wouldn't. This you have to meet income eligibility to be funneled into the Empower program. If you're above that criteria, if you're above that bracket, then you fall into the home performance bracket, where you're now talking about assisted home performance and the home performance energy audit program. And I believe that those are still free up to a certain income range. So I don't have that information with me, but how they do it now is you work with what's called a home performance contractor. They will apply to the program on the customer's behalf. Same information that you guys have when you were talking about that.
Well, I think here in Shandaken, a lot of people can take advantage of this program.
Sure.
And really get some benefit out of it.
Combining this with weatherization is huge.
Is there a deadline?
Is there a deadline for this program?
Yeah.
No, I think it's ongoing. It's been around since I wore a NYSERDA contractor hat, so I know that it's still there because I looked up updates today.
Okay.
All right.
And so to make this Are we already on the right track to make this available to people by putting this on our website?
Absolutely, and I would even go as far as to have whoever is that person that develops the content for that to pull the information directly from the NYSERDA page, because they have links there that are very important. Links to the home performance contractors, to the income eligibility chart and diagram, as well as a list of other resources that are going to be vitally important. What I would think would be very important with this, as we're talking about it, is to combine the outreach for this with organizations like SEALD, people that are working with the utility companies' trade ally program, because they're really going to know what's best as far as what would be the next step to talk about heat pump replacement, like we were just referring to Robert's report.
Right.
So that combining that sort of information is going to be key.
And also I read that Robert is very willing to work with anybody in the town they can contact him to help them through these applications or processes to get these audits.
Yeah, that's really helpful.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
Is Robert's name on the website as a contact person?
A good question. I want to say yes, but I'm not sure.
I should know. I should have looked at the website myself.
And of course, I mean, if you guys are good with that, we move right on to Solarize Ulster.
Okay.
Now, I want to have this conversation with you because, you know, the county's goal, as stated in the Green New Deal, is to reduce our carbon footprint as much as possible. One of the ways that we do that is have this a Solarize Ulster campaign. Basically, the campaign works where we're promoting local renewable energy projects, and we're asking people to sign on for community solar subscriptions. Okay. So anyone who pays a utility bill is eligible to receive these credits. These monetary credits are generated by the solar fields that are located in Ulster County and the surrounding region, and must be purchased by a utility account holder. Our campaign provides an offering of these credits at a 10% discount. So you only pay for 90% of these credits that you receive on your utility bill. There's no additional cost. There's no monthly fees. If you receive $100 in credits, you only pay for $90. One of the other things that's important about this is when you subscribe, the provider that you choose, there are 3 of them that people can choose from, they actually donate $100 back to the county's Green New Deal fund. And that actually goes to other programs, and specifically to a couple of programs that I'm involved with that are on a business level as well. So that's important to know that these companies are out there. The last thing that I will say about this is between Common Energy, Power Market, and Solstice, they might be very close to reaching capacity as far as what's available for these credits. So the reason why it's important for me to have this conversation with you now is the program is still open, but we may be seeing a point where the available credits might not be there in the future.
Because there aren't enough solar fields to sustain the amount of people.
Because the amount of people signing up for them has been.
But isn't the point of this is to generate dollars to create more solar fields?
Yeah, we want to create the demand for that, absolutely. And I think we see that with not just the Solarize Ulster, but if we look from community to community, the community choice aggregation pilots that are happening in communities, those are all indicators of how badly people are interested, how much people are interested in buying solar credits and renewable energy
I
as a whole.
signed up for it myself a long while back.
Yeah.
And NYSEG was having a bit of a billing problem with the whole thing and decided not to bill anybody anything until they got it figured out. And of course it was accumulating all these credits, but it was also accumulating a lot of billing for each individual.
Yeah.
So if anybody has done this and wound up not getting a bill for 8 or 9 months, which I hadn't, I urge them to contact their NYSEG or Central Hudson or whoever is doing this. And if they're going to bill you with a couple of $1,000s for past do stuff because they have to bill you, all you need to say to them is, look, it took you 8 months to bill me. How about it takes me 8 months to pay you back? And they agreed to that. In any event, I haven't seen the savings yet, but it's just at the end, it's just at the point where NICEAC has just figured it all out. So,
Yeah.
it sounds like a great program, and again, it'll all happen. And I think now at this point, NICEAC's got it all figured out, so anybody coming into it at this point
Right.
won't be hitting those hurdles as we did earlier.
Well, it's really good to hear.
Yeah.
Can I ask, does the county look to create a solar field themselves?
Yeah, I mean, the county absolutely does. And there's unique ways of doing that too for distributed, community distributed generation.
Right, isn't there market solar panels on the old dump?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a county run
And
site.
that goes into the grid and
Yeah. So, we need to, what I'd like to see in the state is get to a place where we can, store the energy that we're using in residential homes. And I think that's going to be what the future is. Everything that was in Robert's report is really transitioning from fossil fuels into electric, right? And that's really what we want to do. It's the county's goals. It's also the state's goals.
And is the project going in at the city water, the city
I
facilities?
haven't heard anything since the beginning.
No.
They haven't really
Because they were
contacted.
proposing putting solar panels
Yeah.
there in the city water processing.
No, it's amazing.
I think they're still doing the study.
They're still doing stuff.
Yeah, feasibility is key.
And did you say there was residential and commercial, or they were separated out?
No, it's all the same thing. You're gonna work with one of those three suppliers and explain whatever situation that you find yourself in, which is a great transition, Mike. I mean, it goes into the other things that I actually do for the county that are on a business level, right? So I'm right now, we had just launched a program with the folks at Sustainable Hudson Valley, Melissa Everett and those folks, called UGreen. It's the Ulster County Green Business Engagement Program, and it's basically a business-to-business networking on everything that we can do to maintain a green economy within the county. So when we talk about that, we're talking about developing training programs and workforce programs for contractors, for people that are getting into the business. We're talking about that from high school on up. That's a part of our conversation. We want these businesses to have the resources that they need. So we're doing a bunch of focus groups that are really talking about gathering that intel from them, so we know exactly what they need to keep the doors open and increase employment and sort of try to build that from the foundation up, this idea of a green economy. So that just launched. And then there's the other program that I'm doing that is strictly for businesses called the Ulster County Green Business Champions Program. And the Green Business Champions Program is a task-by-task measure for certification to green things like your procurement, your travel, hits different sectors from the cannabis industry to farms to general offices to medical offices, and each one of those sectors has a different checklist of things that somebody can do to become a certified green business in Ulster County. This is the second version of this. The original version was called the Challenge. This is called the Champions Program, and it is much more in-depth and way more official. So it's not as, we don't want to greenwash everything. We want people to really take very green procurement, green steps in everything that they're doing to become a certified green business in the county. And right now we have 9, and there are 23 businesses that are going through the checklist as we speak. We have 9 certified green businesses. There's a website for that, and one of the things that we do, we're not just asking people to do that without saying good job or giving them something in return. We're putting them on a national directory of green businesses now, not just a local directory. This is a national directory. We're promoting their business depending on what tier that they choose to do. There are 3 tiers. We're promoting their business in a variety of ways through social media channels. And we're recognizing them with window stickers and actual certifications that they can hang on the wall to call out the fact that they've done some amazing work for all kinds of different areas.
And the website is Ulster County.
Green Business
Champions
That's
program.
correct. Yep.
It's a little like 1% for the planet.
Yeah.
That-
Yeah. The agriculture has a green certification. Craft brewing has a green certification. What we're trying to do is just have one place where those are county certified. You know, we want to recognize the work that our businesses are doing.
Okay, so solarize Ulster, just to give it some boundaries.
Sure.
Only through a billing process that people can do. It's nothing to do with their homes, there's no panels on their houses, this is just something that they're subscribing to, that will put more solar power into the grid.
Right. It's going to put more solar power into the grid. The purchaser of that power is buying credits that are priced at whatever they're priced at a 10% discount. And the more demand we have to that, the more that it's pulled from renewable sources built into our network of systems, and that's how the utility company is mandated to do that through the Public Service Commission.
So the homeowner will appreciate some sort of savings throughout the year. Do
Yes.
we have any kind of percentage of what that might be?
Yeah, the savings is stuck at 10%. It is always going to be 10%.
Okay, well, 10% is better than nothing.
10% is better than 7%. Better than 8%.
It's better than a hot okay.
So these three companies, Common Energy, Power Market, and Solstice, are your ESCO.
Yes, without calling them an ESCO.
But essentially, they are supplying technically 100% of your energy.
Well, I don't think that's not the case. They buy certain credits from fields that either are in Ulster County or outside of Ulster County, so they're administering where these credits go and the membership and subscriptions for those credits.
For several years, my ESCO was Clean Choice Energy,
Sure.
which was 90% wind and 10% solar. And then I got a letter from them saying that because I received some kind of credit because of low income, that they could no longer supply me, which was very disheartening to me because I had just installed a heat pump as well. And I'm trying to eliminate any carbon footprint. But I can ask you personally later about this, whatever credit I am supposedly receiving, and if I can eliminate that and go back to Clean Choice Energy. But nonetheless, because I was supposedly receiving technically 100% clean energy to my house, even though, it's a whole miasma of sources combined. But I felt better about it.
I obviously we can't speak as a county representative. I can't speak about somebody's business model or how they conduct it, but I can testify to the fact that we have these three contractors who are managing these subscriptions and that they're doing a great job with that. It's Common Energy, Power Market, and Solstice.
Okay.
So when you go to the website, you'll see those three on there, and you'll see a description of what they are, 3 columns with their contact information, so that you can call each one of them and again check on their capacity and whether and how far along they are.
Quick question, just to resident in town.
Sure.
They can just go to this website and then just subscribe to the website. And
Yeah.
from there, contacts. I guess that's full form. And
You have to, as far as I know, you give them something called your POD number that's on your NICEAG bill, and then they hook you up to it.
Right. You're going to contact them directly. When you go to the website, you're going to see each one of their individual contact information. You're going to contact them directly yourself. You're not entering information into the website that generates something for them to contact you. You're going to contact them. They're going to tell you what they need from you, which would be as described, and go for that.
Just keep in mind too, I don't know how this all ties in, but there are points available for us to be doing this too. You get information out, signing people up, so I don't want to, so let's not lose.
So the next question for the council is, what can we put together? This information is right here that can go on the website, and maybe Joyce can get this information out there as well on the website.
Yeah, and also potentially posting these means
Right.
every place people go, like at the libraries,
Sure.
at the post offices, at community center, yes.
It looks like you gave us quite a few copies.
I have quite a few more. You can let me know whenever you need.
Because then perhaps, I mean, part of reaching out to our community partners to distribute
Right.
information, underground level.
The more information you can get out there about these programs, the better off they're going to be, and they're going to be even more successful. And you're going to do something else as well when we're, going back to economic development hat. You're going to create demand for workforce by getting this going. So that's important.
It was a good point, yeah.
But this, something like this needs to be headlined with save 10% of your energy bill. I mean, that's a.
I think, all it makes sense. I think we probably should work with, one of us should work with Joyce to kind of couch it, to get that out there.
Yep.
Because I don't think we just can't hand it over, I'm guessing, and then expect somebody to kind of organize it, so we have to do that. I'm not familiar with the town's website at the moment, but is there a section for this kind of stuff? And if there isn't, we should make it one.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of sections.
Yeah, right.
And
We
we're
have
trying
the
to,
Facebook.
when we did the CAC, we didn't have a section then, so we kind of reconfigured
Right.
stuff so that we can have one slot for the CAC,
Right.
and we'll put it there.
Yeah, and then I think, so that might be, just the sheer fact of creating a spot for that on the site, then we can push people to that spot on the site, and then from there they can, so I
Right,
think that'd
there's
be
like
helpful.
a what's new and
Right.
what's happening, and you can put, Joyce can put something to say,
Right.
oh, check out this and blah, 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 and the CAC
Right.
link, and
But we're gonna have to sit with her
But
about it.
I also like, aside putting it on the website, because not everybody goes to the website, I don't know, is to get these posted, like you said, in supermarkets and things, but I think it needs to be
she could put it on the Facebook page also.
yeah, no, that'd be great. Again, not everybody's on Facebook.
Yeah.
Well, except everybody except me.
But in addition, like at the recycling center, maybe we could put up a signboard with coming soon, posting program, coming soon, or do this now. It would be nice to have, because people that are recycling are obviously interested somehow.
Yes.
Yeah, they're already
to even
started.
a small
That's a great
level.
idea, but
Yep.
to have someplace weatherproof to have it.
Yeah, it would have to be a covered board, but nonetheless, that, I think, because people that go to recycling are obviously somehow caring a little bit,
Absolutely,
at least a little bit.
I think that we should discuss a plan of developing, our community, like a channel.
Yeah.
Like every time we have information to distribute, that we have like the library, farmers market, all these different places that we're gonna sort of hit them with. Every time something comes down the pike, that, that we can distribute, townwide.
I think it's a great idea, and I think that's a meeting.
Definitely.
Like that should be a topic for a meeting.
Absolutely, I think so, yeah. I think you're absolutely right, because right now, we say this is a great idea, who's gonna do it?
Yeah, right, so I think,
So we need, I think at the next meeting, it
the
would
next
be,
agenda, yeah, that should be part of it.
part of the next
Yeah.
agenda of new business,
Yeah,
as to, again, I think, am I correct that we're gonna, if I'm an individual, I'm gonna save 10% of my bill if I.
Yes.
So, save 10% on your utility bill.
Yes.
That catches the eye right away. The rest of this, not to say that it's laid out well, but it's not saying that, in big bold letters. So it's just a little modification to this, to catch people's eyes to say, all right, hey, wow, how do I save 10%? It doesn't cost me anything, it's just gonna sign up. So, so at the next meeting, why don't we discuss how to go about doing
I
that?
think we need to recruit a graphics person.
Yeah, I mean,
Would be
it's not a big.
Not only graphics, but a very intelligent web person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Web-
But also, with our community partners, when we distribute this, we just break it down, we make it as simple as possible. So what we want to do is action into that. Some people may not even have access to to computer website. So finding a way, but if we find sort of the biggest bang for the buck to try to get it out.
Well, that's pretty well says it. I mean, you know, it says, you know, make your home or apartment more energy efficient for free. And I think, you know, I'm glad they made that for free, big letters. So yeah, I think in the next meeting we should try to figure that out, get that all done. So you put that in the notes, and we're all set with that.
Similar notes.
All right. Well, you know, we'll get on it.
Great. It's good to hear. Look, the county wants to support everything that you folks are doing, and that's why you get me here talking about topics that aren't in my wheelhouse but are important topics that we need to talk about. I'd love to come back and talk about some of the business stuff that we're doing and give you folks a greater understanding of what that looks like. The website, actually, we were talking about the website for the Green Business Champions.
Yes.
It's greenbiz, B-I-Z, tracker.ulster.org, I think that's it.
Yeah, I while you were talking, I put it in here. It popped
Right up.
So,
Yeah.
So,
So fast.
well, it's just I put in green
Modern
business
technology.
champions.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much. And
Well, we will ask you to come back and talk about EV charging infrastructure.
Sure.
You said that the municipalities may be eligible for some sort of program.
I'd love to come back with more information for you for that.
Yes, okay, so Michael has more information coming to him, so he doesn't want to give us half a glass of
You mean
information.
me, Michael?
No, that,
That Michael.
you have nothing.
And
Well,
Huntsville is doing some EV charging stuff.
Yeah, all utility companies are pretty much mandated to do some sort of incentive program for EV stations. I'm not sure if they're named the same. I know that Central Hudson's EV program is called Charge Ready. So I'm not, Nice Egg
I
Lands.
just got a notice from Nice Egg. I think they said they'll get it EV ready. You know,
Right, so it seems like we're all talking the same language.
They'll do the electric.
They'll get
Yeah.
the electric to the
Right.
the
And-
distribution.
And I think that they'll manage the incentives that the
Right.
state offers. It'll go through them to whoever is the installer. When I come back, I'm gonna have another idea for you.
Well,
So it's gonna be something outside of the utility company
cool.
program.
See you next week.
Well, the next meeting's not until,
The Inflation Reduction Act should be supplying some funding for us, assumedly.
Well,
I'll come back and talk.
Yeah,
Is the next meeting too soon for you to have that information?
It might not be me, but it'll be somebody else or me, and I'll make sure that that person brings you that.
The next meeting might be what we were just talking about, trying to set that up, so. But I was just saying before, what I wanted to add was, I'd been tasked to get a little bit of info on the units themselves, like who would we, get some pricing on the terminals, and I contacted ChargePoint, which is the one that I know is in Margaretville and also at the Shandaken Inn, and I'm scheduled for a meeting, virtual meeting with them tomorrow. But they seem to be all over the place in the sense that, in a good way, like they're popping up. That company in particular popping up, and they may have. Because the one in Margaretville's for free, so I'm assuming it's funded some.
Businesses probably.
I don't think so. I think it's a county initiative. I'm guessing, but I know there's no business in town that's funding it.
Yeah. Michael, if you want to go, you're free to go. But I'm gonna just continue.
I've been released.
Yeah.
But if you'd like to stay, you're also totally welcome to stay. Listen
I appreciate that.
Well, one request, I mean, could you send us some more of those green flyers?
The solar
or
ones?
send us a PDF of them so we can.
I can probably do both.
Yeah.
All right, but I have quite a lot printed out. and
That'd be
I'll
great.
I'll happily bring some up, and maybe I'll send some up with Heidi.
That'd be
Heidi
great.
can bring some up here.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, terrific.
All right,
Great.
sound good?
Yes,
Thank you guys for having me again.
All right.
Thank you for
See
coming.
you soon.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Did you have more?
Well, the only thing I wanted to talk about, as far as this EV, as as far as, I heard from, I can't remember who, that the town was talking about putting, perhaps stationing these EV stations at Glenbrook Park.
Yeah, there was a couple of just discussions about that.
There were discussions about that, and as an experience as an EV driver, electric vehicle driver, those kinds of locations are absolutely useless, because they're level two, they're level 2 chargers, which means that you're going to be charging at probably a rate of 12 miles an hour.
And nobody's ever there that long.
They need to be obviously in Pine Hill or in Phoenicia, someplace central.
In a business district,
I think
as
whoever,
right.
whoever idea that was just thinking,
Yeah.
it's a gathering spot. And,
Right.
you know,
But there was talk about it, I just peripherally, when we talked about it, you said ideally it would be in a business district, so you could plug in and then utilize the businesses that are around there. The question came up was like there's no town-owned, potentially, sites in.
Well, what you do in Pine Hill, you have parking, lot.
Yeah, okay.
That's
That
an
might be one.
ideal spot for
Yeah.
it.
Right.
In Phoenicia,
The main streets, because we only have 2 main streets, right? in the
that's
town.
correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So Pine Hill and Phoenicia.
But I'm not sure there's
Yeah,
anything in
but
Phoenicia, it
Phoenicia-
didn't sound like anybody had anything in Phoenicia that would.
No, and we always talk about perhaps the property across from the Playhouse is a wonderful piece of property, but we don't own it. Another location would be Parish Field, which again we don't own, but maybe with an arrangement with the church, it can be done.
Yeah, we have like a 99-year lease, it's not, and they're actually in the process of selling it to the Nature Conservancy or something.
So it's safe forever.
Well, that would be perfect.
Yeah,
I mean, then it would, a no-brainer. The issue is creating a parking area in there to house these units, and because that's right in town, so that would be an ideal location. As far as high-speed charging, which is the superchargers, I don't, I keep asking and I'm investigating about it, and the people who own these superchargers, such as Electrify America and ChargePoint has them as well, are really not all that interested in putting it in locations that don't have enough traffic.
Volume.
The volume that the New York State Thruway does, or putting one in Kingston where, you have the,
they don't just want weekend chargers.
Right.
no, because they're very expensive.
Yeah.
Very expensive. But again, if somebody who's driving their Tesla or their Rivian or whatever, there are so many vehicles now, Volkswagens, come into town, they go have some lunch, they charge enough to get themselves wherever they need to go, given 2 or 3 hours. And we have customers in town that will buy things for 2 or 3 hours. So,
A month or so ago, you saw all those Maseratis come through town.
Yeah.
no, I missed that.
Wow, it's quite a sight.
What about incentivizing gas stations?
Essentially, the what?
Gas stations, to incentivize them somehow.
Well,
It's amazing that you would have to. You would think that any service station would want to put an EV charger in there.
in Maine and in Canada, there's a chain of gas stations called Irving. This is the name, Irving, and they are in fact installing EV chargers in their lots as well. And yeah, it's a great thing, but that's a business supplying that, but I think as a town, I don't know whether we would want to, whether the business community would want to chip in and say, all right, it's for free. You have free charging here, which is, and charging isn't all that expensive to begin with.
Right.
So that's an option as well. But yeah, gas stations are an ideal idea. I mean, look at the gas station in Kingston that has the, what's the name of that station? It has the Tesla chargers.
Quick check.
Quick Check. Has a whole row of Tesla
Six
chargers.
of them
So yeah, believe it or not, I mean, we do believe it because it's going to happen. Gas stations are going to transition to charging stations anyway.
Even if they installed them in the gas station, could hook them up to the lighting district, I mean, we as a town could pay for it. And so it wouldn't have to be, I mean, we have separate electric.
Right.
Does the town pay a flat rate for electricity?
No, it's all over the place.
Okay.
But
We get a good deal
Right.
because we buy so much of it, but, it's not.
yeah, I've been to 2 or 3 larger gas stations that have those, but the power requirements are enormous. I mean, because
Well,
for the
high speed.
yeah. So I'm saying like that. If you're talking on that, like there's an infrastructure issue, I'm pretty sure to get all that. But I think the EV ones at level 2s, you can populate those pretty quick. I think I had a notation. It was like 30 amp, like they're 30 amp.
Well, the 30 amps are kind of slow, but 50 amps are really
Right.
standard.
But again, for a normal person to plug in for an hour, get 20 or miles or so, or 2 hours, they can go shopping, they can eat, they can, so it's a plus, obviously a plus for business. I do it all the time now.
Yeah.
And I've been, every once in a while I get to a remote place and I'm like, ugh, I'm gonna have to, kill an hour here, but any place populated is great. I mean, you can just go and, dig around, so. But in general, I'm gonna get some more information on what each unit costs, but I just have to dig in, but there's examples, like I said, in Margaretville, Kingston, down in the waterfront, there's 2 stations there.
Right.
All those are
Those
free.
are also charged for.
And they're free.
Yeah, that's free.
So something's funding those. So we just have to figure out what that is, because it's not the business district, I think.
Even if it's not free, it's not that much.
No, they're not. But I'm just saying, but I was, looked at a few where the first hour is free. They want you to move, they want to move you out so another person can come in, or, so there's also
Coles.
incentivized, yeah, that's.
Coles has
Right, another
a
one
company
that's.
that I've never even heard of
Yeah,
before, but
yeah.
they're
Volta.
free.
Volta.
Coles obviously.
It's Volta,
is
yeah, and they have a first hour free, and then after that, it incentivizes you to go, so somebody else can go in there, and move people through there, so.
Maybe the town might be interested in with the tax credit or something that if it were.
There's definitely something out there, because like I said, all these towns that have them and there's no charge, there must be a reason for it. I have to dig in a little bit more to find out what's going on there. Yeah. But the power requirements weren't as bad as I thought they were. We were looking, same thing for over at the diner, and I was gonna dismiss it because we're pretty close to our capacity, but now that I'm looking at it, it doesn't seem off the charts difficult, so.
Well, I think as a council, we need to focus first of all on this NYSERDA solarized Ulster issue, and get that locked down so that we can move that on, and then put that aside, and then move on to the next thing, which may be the EV situation. We've been kicking the EV thing can down the road for a while, which is fine.
Yeah.
But
Something under our belts.
because more information, as Michael said, is coming through, and so we can wait for that information and move on that. But in the meantime, I think the next meeting we should focus on getting this information out, which is really awesome because it's much greener than what people are using now, and they're saving money. Where in the past, when you usually signed up for these things, it was costing you money to sign up with wind power. It was actually costing you a little bit more. Now it seems to have turned around, and now it's actually saving people some money, which eventually is going to happen, which is awesome.
And right off the bat, we don't have to do very little in order to get it going right away.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
just to circle back on what Michael has said, we can also kind of at our next meeting, kind of figure out where we are in terms of work points, where we are, we're standing on what our goals are, what have been met.
and as individuals, we can take this information, what we come up with visuals, and and take piles of them and bring them to the library and bring them to the supermarkets, and I mean, all of us could do that and distribute it in that way. So, anyway, anybody have any new business that they? No?
Nope.
We move to, anybody want to make a motion to adjourn? Okay.
I second that motion. Yep.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Beth will be back. She'll be much more organized than I was. Thank you, guys.